Okay, so back to talking about the seizure medication side effects. Being that they have to make synthetic treatments for situations that they don't truly understand, there's always something that goes wrong with it because it's unnatural, right? So when we look up what are the side effects that we deal with anybody who's dealing with epilepsy medications, let's just run through a little list of them. It kind of reminds me of this Boondocks episode with Granddad called Mr. Medicinal, where it's talking about trying to give him some medications, and then the medications say that the side effects include mild death and total scrotal implosion and stuff, right? So, I mean, because we was watching that yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. So, it made me think about that, because when I look at this, it says, seizure medications have a variety of possible side effects, and I'll make sure that I point when I talk about the ones that I'm either dealing with now or have dealt with already. Kidney stones, increased urination, loss of potassium, dependence, possible severe seizures on sudden withdrawal, respiratory depression, increased risk of glaucoma, liver injury, upset stomach, serious, even fatal skin reactions, not the fatal part yet, serious blood disorder, reduced sodium levels, potentially irreversible eye damage, potentially irreversible skin discoloration, liver failure, potentially fatal anemia, weight gain, I've dealt with that, weight loss, I've dealt with that, behavioral changes, skin rash, dealing with that, changes in heartbeat with possible fainting, dealing with and dealt with, serious rash, stomach problems, difficulty sleeping, regularly deal with that, birth defects, thankfully my children didn't have to come out defected, body hair growth, depression, deal with that, memory loss, dealing with that, gum disease, dealing with that, seizure with higher doses, swelling of hands and feet, trouble concentrating, deal with that, tremors, still have that, increased risk for glaucoma, I already said that, trouble concentrating, said that, toxicity to liver. One time they almost killed me with one medication called Dilantin because they overdosed me with it till it was toxic in my levels, and I was falling down in the daggone shower just trying to stand and take a shower. This was back when I was still in college. As a matter of fact, I didn't get to finish college because of my seizures. I made it up to my junior year in college, but I had so many seizures I had to miss school and things of that nature for a while and miss classes, and it really affected my GPA. So I took time off from college. Then I can't really work with other people's jobs and things. I lost the last job that I worked for somebody else was back in 2008 because my FMLA didn't go through because I hadn't been there for a full year. So basically me having seizures all throughout that year caused me to not be able to work for somebody else. And then who's going to hire you when they don't even know what in the world might happen to you while you're there on the job site? Because you become more of a liability to them, right? So I had to do for myself in this situation, and thankfully I'm retired from the military. Again, happy Veterans Day, right? So I apologize, I got off long-winded onto that first question, brother. But I think I might have dealt with that. But basically my family, the message I would give them is, if you know who if you and my family, and you know what this picture right here means to me. I'm talking about my blood family right now. I ain't saying no names because we know how me and my family are. Johnson Strong as far as that. We know. You got a clear shot on that. They know who this is. Today is 11/11/2016 too, so my heart is heavy anyway for those that know. But the inspiration that I always had about being able to look towards our ancestry and being able to know our culture and things of that nature has been planted in me ever since I was real young. So after dealing with these people's so-called solutions for 16 years and it's still not giving me any real conclusion, I have to try something different if the definition of insanity is literally to do the same thing over and over and expect to get different results. I've been dealing with these different medications for 16 years and these doctors have no clue still. But I literally a year ago received a phone call from a brother in South Africa who saw one of my classes as a student teacher, my master teacher. He saw one of the classes there, and he reached out to me. We were talking, and then he started to tell me that he had been experiencing many of the same things that I had, and he explained to me from the traditional point of view what that means and what can be done in a natural and holistic way. And literally with all the confirmations through research and just experience that I've done, I know what step I have to take next. So that's why I'm, asking for the support from my family, but even more importantly, want to make sure that my family understands what they're supporting. So that, like all my church family and everything from back in the days, they always recognized me as being a drummer, as a musician. In church back in the days, they called me, or called every one of us who operated within the function of dealing in music ministers. And we culturally don't even understand how important that is, because for instance, like when we say Sangoma, within the root of that word Sangoma, you have the word Ngoma, utilizing the science of this particular knowledge that's been passed down from mouth to ear for thousands of years, of Ubungoma. And the word Ngoma means the way of song, or Ubungoma translates loosely to the way of the drum. And when I say loosely, I'm talking about real loosely, because we're taking ancient languages and then putting the Western, European, or even American set of words to try to capture the meaning. So, things that get lost in translation. But for all y'all that's my family members and things, y'all know I've been playing drums and been heavily into music and spirituality my entire life. So we still walking in the same lane. And now the thing is just trying to make sure that we have an understanding, period.
Okay, well, can you give your view on why do you feel people may fear Africa? Or maybe thinking they may fear that you're going to Africa and all of this other stuff.
Man, you ain't lying about that. That's real. A lot of people are afraid of Africa. That's why I put a post up on Facebook. My little brother did our blood test. We got the same mother and father, so him doing the blood test is him doing the blood test for me, my little sister, and my little brother, right?
All right.
And just based on the facts of our DNA, it says that we're 84% African. So I asked the question on Facebook, does that mean that I'm at least African enough for me to be able to find an African solution to my issue?
All right.
And with that being the case, that is where I stand. That's what it is. And our master teacher taught us about the inevitability of fact. The thing about facts are you can't deny them. Like, let me see, I'll read real quick, because this is what I like to do anyway. Just read this first part here, coming out of this actual fact. Talking about our people, the supreme beings, the Melanite race, talking about us as Africans, all of us, wherever we may be. It says, in the inevitability of fact, everyone seeks facts, truth, and confirmation. No one can really endure on blind faith or hopes. The stress and cares of life without facts about something, like not knowing the exact phone number of an important call, or the address of a place you must be at a certain time. To not have facts to feel pain, fear, danger, yet not know why or where to go. To have it taken care of. That's blind faith, not a life to death that cannot ultimately be proven. Atheists cannot prove there is no God or gods, just as religious people cannot prove that their God or gods exist by faith and belief only. And so they create other titles such as pantheist or pragmatist. Facts are unavoidable, even if we only choose to have facts in our own existence. What is to be decided is what evidence we think is pertinent, how are we going to interpret the evidence, and who finds it? And will they really accept the facts over their blind faith? Ask yourself, who is your mother? She comes to mind because you know who she is. Now, who is your creator? God, Lord, Allah, Elo, Rab, Jah, or Yahweh? You don't get an exact visual. One is fact, and the other is fiction until confirmed. So the thing that we see is we look to confirm these things. We look to confirm these concepts that we've taken on about words that we've given power, like we talk about words of power, right? I think that my people are afraid of me going to Africa, and I say this in this quick little line, right? If you're afraid to go to Africa, that's cool. You know, I understand. The doctors that I'm dealing with here in America don't know what to do about my situation, and they're telling me and my family that I could literally transition at any point right now. So, just like last year, I had 25 seizures alone last year. So that means 25 times. If a seizure means to take capture of somebody by force, that means I was taken by force 25 times at least last year, not knowing if I was going to wake up and still be on this side. So I can understand your fears of Africa, but me, I see Africa as my solution. You see, because I'm reaching back, and that's important. Can you zoom in on that? That Sankofa ring right there. If y'all know about Sankofa, spelled S-A-N-K-O-F-A. Sankofa is a West African term from the Akan, or in the Twi language of Ghana, which means, or translates to, we won't say which means, because it means what it means in the language of those people, our people. It says, go back and get it. And then they're saying that it also means, insofar as the literal translation, that it's not taboo for you to go back and fetch something that you may have forgotten or may have left behind. So what you're looking at is you're looking at a bird that's flying forward, but it's reaching back to get an egg that it was forgetting. That's what I'm doing. You know, this is literally my Sankofa to be a Sangoma. Because in the traditional understanding of this, this is what I was already before I was even born. And the definition, or the way that it is defined as to what we're seeing as results of what these doctors can't answer about my situation, they call it Twaza. And what that means is that it's time for me to be able to answer my call to be able to help heal others, but I have to first start by healing myself. So that's the journey that I find myself on.
So I heard you mention like just going back, fetching and whatever. I mean, it makes me think of ancestors or like ancestry and stuff like that. So who in your factory, what would you say who are ancestors or from a traditional or an indigenous per se?
We got a video we just put out. It was a little video of us just kind of jamming out at the Urban Grind open mic, acoustic universal. What's the M stand for?
Mic. Yeah.
Acoustic universal mic night. Out of the Urban Grind, supporting my good brother that's doing this interview right now. And we had a brother that came in and he was talking about some issues that he deals with and things of that nature. And he was saying, you know, how he loves the Lord and everything. He is released